Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we're going to continue our study on functions. At this time, please make sure that you have your math journal, vocab packet, as well as something to write with. Today our target is I can find function values. Now in the past, we have basically learned that a function is any equation that allows us to plug in one input and get one output as an answer, okay? And in previous videos, we have seen equations that look similar to this, like y equals 3x plus 6. We plug in one number for x, we get one answer out for y. Well, sometimes when we look at a function, instead of using a y, they use a different variable. And then they put parentheses and then they put whatever variable is used throughout the equation. So for instance, like this says f of x. What that means is I can plug any number in for this x, and then this part right here would be my answer. So this part kind of replaced the y. So this f of x part is basically my outputs, okay? And so I can put any number in this parenthesis, and then what that means is I am going to take that number and use it throughout my equation. Okay, so look at these two examples. These two are functions. Here's one function right here, okay? And this function is asking you to do two different things. And I want you to notice any differences or any similarities between the two. What do you notice? Well, I will say a similarity between both of them is the fact that the -4 plus 7, -4 plus 7 down here, remain the same. So notice that rule remained the same because of the fact that it's in this rule, and that is our function. So it has to stay the same. So the thing that changed is whatever number goes inside these parentheses is the number that I'm going to substitute in for my variable. So do you notice that this 2 went in for the x, and this -3 went in for the x down here? These are two different situations. They're basically, what we're doing is we're taking two different outputs. So we have this output and then we have this output, and we're plugging them in and seeing, how does it change? What answer do we get as an output? And so first step was to plug in 2. So and then we just have to evaluate it. When a number is next to another number, remember we multiply. So we need to do order of operations. Multiplication is going to come first before addition. So -4 times 2 is -8, plus 1 is, or plus 7 is -1. So our first ordered pair, let's write that down. Our first ordered pair, we plugged in which number? 2, and we got an answer of -1. So on a graph, I could plot that point. And all of these points put together should make a graph that would be a function, and it would satisfy a vertical line test. Like it would show that only one answer was plugged in, one answer came out. Now look at number 2 though. The first part, do you notice the -3 is plugged in for x. However, there's something different about this one. Yeah, do you notice this negative, or this +1 right here? Well, that is different from at the top too, because up here all we had was f of 2, meaning all we had was to just plug in 2. This one though says f of negative 3 and then plus 1. And do you notice the plus 1 is not in the parentheses? And what that means is we are going to do this one last. So we are going to plug in the negative 3, see what we get, and then after that we're going to add on 1. Okay, and so let's plug in negative 3. We're plugging it still into this rule. So we have negative 4 times negative 3. And the reason why there's brackets around this is because we want to do this first. We want to do this first. And in order of operations, the only way to do something first is to put grouping symbols around it. And the reason why we're using brackets is because this number right here has parentheses around it. So we don't want to put parentheses around parentheses. So brackets, kind of help us to set that off to the side and do it first. So we have negative 4 times negative 3, which is 12, plus 7, which we get 19. And then we're going to add on the 1 afterwards. So if we add on the 1, our answer is 20. So our ordered pair is, what did we plug in? Negative 3. We are not going to worry about putting down the 1 because the 1 was just something to add on to at the end. And then we got an answer of 20. Okay, so let's go over some steps of what we did. So the first step, it looks like we did what? Yes, we plugged in the 2. So we plugged in whatever value was given to us for the variable. Now, the variable won't always be x. It could be, any letter in the alphabet. But in this case, it was an x. So we plugged in for x. And then on this problem, well, and then we evaluated. But on this problem, there was something that we did differently. Correct. We added on whatever was extra. Okay, sometimes it's addition, sometimes it's subtraction. Actually, we could even multiply or divide. So we need to be careful that we look for that. So here are the steps again. So we substituted the value for x or any variable into the function. This, I'm going to say add, subtract, multiply, or divide any additional values. Okay, I would like you to try this problem. So here is the function up at the top, and you are going to plug in these values. Okay, thank you so much for joining me at Carlton's Math Corner, and I look forward to meeting with you again.